My team of NASA scientists developed the formal name of Clostridium pessimis, meaning the worst. It is informally known as the woe, the worst of all time. Clostridium pessimis has been classified as a prokaryotic bacteria. It is a single-celled organism that lacks a nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. It is approximately 3 μm long. When primarily determining the kind of organism the woat was, my team of scientists at NASA performed a variety of tests. We first posed the question as to whether the organism was living. We tested for all 7 characteristics of life: use of energy, response to stimuli, homeostasis, reproduction, complexity, growth and development, and cells. We also tested for the 4 biomolecules: lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates, and their relationship to the characteristics of life. We tested use of energy in the organism by placing different sources of energy near the substance and seeing if the organism moved toward or away from the source. The sources we used to test were light from a lamp, sugars and salts, water heat, and natural light. The organism's response to stimuli was tested by looking for the presence of water. We placed water next to it to see if it absorbed or left in a different form. Homeostasis was tested for through taking the organism's temperature, changing the external temperature, and then re-evaluating the organism's temperature to see if it adapted to maintain normal temperature. We tested reproduction by observing a culture of the organism and letting it inoculate for a period of time. It reproduces asexually through a process known as binary fission. In binary fission, the DNA of a bacterial cell replicates itself, divides into 2, and then the 2 replicates divide into 2 identical daughter cells. The complexity of the organism was evaluated under a microscope. By looking at the organism over a period of time, we were able to recognize its growth and development. Lipids were tested for through the Sudan-Red test. Proteins were tested for through the Buret solution. Nucleic acids were tested for through the diphenylamine test. Simple carbohydrates were tested through the use of Benedict solution, and complex carbohydrates were tested through the use of Lugol's reagent. From these tests, it was determined that woat had all characteristics of life and all 4 biomolecules present, leading us to believe that it was not a virus in either a prokaryotic or eukaryotic organism. After observing under a microscope, we discovered the organism was prokaryotic due to its lack of complexity in organelles compared to a eukaryotic. Woat has linear DNA and is much smaller than a eukaryote. These are the specific characteristics of Clostridium pessimis that have given us the ability to classify it as a prokaryotic organism. However, there are specifications for the woat that differentiate it from other prokaryotes. The woat is an autotrophic organism, meaning it produces its own energy or food source. More specifically, the woat uses sunlight as a source of energy and carbon dioxide as a source of carbon. The woat then takes the sunlight and transforms it into food through a process known as photosynthesis. While it performs photosynthesis, Clostridium pessimis is not a plant. Similar to cyanobacteria, the woat has a double cell membrane and folded inner thylakoid membranes which allow it to do photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process by which cells use sunlight to create food with a combination of water and carbon dioxide. It is a highly contagious bacteria due to the way it thrives in the Earth's environment, especially in the climate of New England. Clostridium pessimis is spread through surface and skin contact, making it extremely easy to contract. Antibiotics to fight Clostridium pessimis is in the process of being developed, and you can learn more about that in the patient pamphlet.